Okay, so here's something that almost nobody talks about, honestly. When a twin flame separation happens, the narrative usually goes something like this. The divine feminine is left heartbroken, doing all the inner work, journaling at midnight, crying in the shower, rebuilding herself from scratch. And then somewhere in the background, the divine masculine seems just fine, moving on, unbothered, living his best life on the surface. But here's the thing, that surface is a lie. Because behind closed doors, in the quiet moments when nobody is watching, the divine masculine is consumed. He's checking her social media at 2 a.m. He's hearing a song on the radio and pulling over his car because it reminds him of her. He's in a new situationship, but mentally somewhere else entirely. He is, for lack of a better word, obsessed. And this isn't just emotional weakness or attachment issues. Something much deeper is happening here. Something spiritual. Something that the divine masculine himself cannot fully explain, which makes it even more maddening for him. Today, we're going to break down exactly why this happens, not to excuse his behavior, not to tell you to wait for him, but to actually understand the mechanics of what's going on at a soul level. Because when you understand it, you stop taking it personally, you stop questioning your worth, and you start seeing the separation for what it truly is. A necessary chapter in a much bigger story. Let's get into it. 1. She carries a frequency he has never felt before. The divine feminine carries a very specific energetic signature. It's hard to describe in regular language, but the closest thing I can say is this. She vibrates at a frequency of unconditional love, not the romanticized roses and candlelight version of love, real love. The kind that sees through someone's walls, accepts their mess, and still chooses to show up. The divine masculine has likely encountered many people in his life, relationships, friendships, connections of all kinds, but none of them have felt like her. She's different in a way he can feel in his bones, but cannot articulate to anyone around him. And when she leaves, or when the separation happens, that frequency doesn't just disappear from his system. It lingers. Like a song stuck in your head that you can't shake, no matter how many other songs you try to replace it with. His nervous system literally remembers her. And because nothing else matches that vibration, everything else starts to feel flat, hollow, like eating food with no taste. He keeps reaching for something that used to be there, and the absence of it is louder than any presence he's surrounded by. This is why the obsession isn't something he can logic his way out of. It's not in his head. It's in his energy field. And his soul keeps pulling him back because at a frequency level, she's the only thing that ever felt like home. 2. She activated parts of him he didn't know existed. Here's something the divine masculine is rarely prepared for. The divine feminine doesn't just love him. She activates him. She brings parts of him to the surface that have been buried, sometimes for decades. The tenderness he stopped showing after it got hurt. The vulnerability he locked away because it felt dangerous. The parts of him that actually want to be known, not just admired. Before her, he had a very manageable version of himself that he showed to the world. He knew who he was, what he wanted, and how to move through life without feeling too much. Then she came along and all of that got complicated. And now that she's gone, those activated parts of him don't just go back to sleep. They stay awake, restless, demanding attention. He finds himself feeling things he doesn't have the language for, crying without knowing why, getting angry and not understanding the root of it. The inner world she cracked open is still wide open, and he's standing in the middle of it with no map. The obsession is partly him chasing her. Yes, but it's also him trying to chase down the version of himself she helped him discover. Because for the first time, he caught a glimpse of who he could actually be. And losing her felt like losing that version of himself too. 3. The separation forces him to confront his own emptiness. Before the twin flame connection, the divine masculine could stay busy enough to avoid looking inward. Work, goals, social life, surface level relationships, all of it served as a very effective distraction. But the divine feminine has a way of making all of that feel insufficient. Not because she tries to, just because the depth of what they shared made everything shallow by comparison. When the separation hits, he goes back to those distractions. He tries the same old playbook, but it doesn't work the way it used to. The emptiness she revealed in him doesn't refill just because he's staying busy. And so he fixates on her, not necessarily because he wants her back in a possessive way, but because in his mind, she was the solution to a void he didn't even know he was carrying. What he doesn't realize yet is that she was never supposed to fill that void. She was only supposed to show him it existed. That emptiness is his own inner work, his own unhealed wounds, his own disconnect from himself. And the obsession? It's the universe refusing to let him look away from it. 4. His soul recognizes a contract that predates this lifetime. This one goes deep, so stay with me. At a soul level, twin flames made an agreement long before they were born into these bodies. An agreement to find each other, to trigger each other's growth, and to ultimately evolve into higher versions of themselves, together or apart. The divine masculine's obsession after separation is partly his soul remembering that contract. There's a deep knowing inside him that this wasn't supposed to be the end, that there's something unfinished, something important. And that feeling of incompleteness is relentless because it's not coming from his ego, it's coming from somewhere much older than this lifetime. This is why he can be in a completely different relationship, seemingly moved on, and still feel pulled back. His logical mind is telling him to let go. His soul is saying something entirely different, and the soul always wins in the long run. He can ignore it for months, maybe even years, but it never fully quiets down. This doesn't mean the divine feminine should wait indefinitely. It means both parties are being pulled toward growth by forces larger than their individual choices. The contract isn't about reunion at any cost. It's about completion. And completion looks different for every pair. 5. She reflected his wounds back to him, and he wasn't ready. The twin flame connection is often described as looking in a mirror. And that's accurate, but what people don't mention is how uncomfortable that mirror is. The divine feminine, by her very nature, reflects the divine masculine back to himself. His wounds, his unresolved pain, his patterns, his ego defenses. All of it. And in most cases, the reason the separation happens in the first place is because he wasn't ready to face what he saw in that mirror. It was too much, too fast, too honest. So he pulled back, created distance, maybe even sabotage things. But here's what nobody tells you. That mirror doesn't disappear when she leaves. He still has to look at it. He still has to deal with what she reflected. And without her physically present, those reflections are now entirely his responsibility to process. The obsession is partly him realizing that the wound isn't gone just because she is. He thought the discomfort was about her. He's slowly discovering it's about him. This is where the real growth begins for the divine masculine. When he stops blaming the connection for disrupting his peace and starts understanding that the disruption was the point. 6. He senses her energy shifts and it disturbs him. Twin flames share an energetic cord that doesn't get severed by physical separation. It just goes quiet on the surface. And because of this cord, the divine masculine often picks up on the divine feminine's energy shifts without even being in contact with her. When she starts to heal, when she starts to grow, when she starts to thrive, he feels it. It might come as a sudden thought of her, a dream, a random wave of emotion, a feeling of restlessness he can't explain. He doesn't know why it's happening, but something in him registers that she is changing. And this both attracts and unsettles him, because if she is evolving without him, if she is becoming more whole, more grounded, more free, then the dynamic he understood is shifting. The version of her he thought he knew is being replaced by someone even more powerful, and that pulls at him in ways his ego isn't comfortable with. The healthiest thing the divine feminine can do during this phase is exactly what she's already doing. Focus on herself. Not as a strategy to pull him back, but because her own growth is the point. The fact that it reverberates through the cord and reaches him is just a byproduct. Her job is to keep evolving. His job is to figure out what to do with what he's feeling. The obsession is actually a spiritual awakening in disguise. This might be the most important thing I say today, so I want you to really sit with it. The divine masculine's obsession after separation isn't just heartbreak. It isn't just attachment. At its core, it is a spiritual awakening being forced into motion. He was never going to wake up on his own timeline. The comfort of his old life was too easy to stay in. He needed something disruptive enough, significant enough, painful enough to shake him out of his sleep. And the divine feminine connection, and the loss of it, was precisely that. Every time he thinks of her and feels that ache in his chest, something is shifting in him. Every time he tries to suppress it and finds he can't, another layer is being peeled back. Every time he catches himself wondering what she's doing, he's actually wondering who he is and what his life is supposed to mean. The obsession is the awakening, and the awakening is uncomfortable, inconvenient, and relentless. Because that's what awakening actually is. It doesn't happen gently for most people. It happens through the thing that breaks them open. Eventually, if he does the work, if he stops running, stops numbing, stops projecting, the obsession transforms into something else entirely, into clarity, into purpose, into a man who is finally ready to meet her as an equal, or to release her with genuine love and peace, if that is what the journey calls for. So here's the bottom line. The divine masculine obsesses over the divine feminine after separation, because she is not just a person he loved. She is a catalyst, a mirror, a frequency, a soul contract. And the separation is not the universe ending their story. It's the universe making sure both of them actually grow before that story continues. But I want to add something here that doesn't get said enough. Separation in the twin flame journey has a way of exposing who each person truly is when the connection is removed. And that exposure is the whole point, because you cannot build something real on top of unhealed ground. You just can't. And the universe knows this, even when we don't want to accept it. For the divine feminine listening to this, there will be moments where you question everything, where you wonder if the connection was even real, if you imagined the depth of it, if you were simply too much for someone who wasn't ready. And I want you to hear this clearly. You were not too much. You were exactly enough. The problem was never your intensity or your love or your ability to see deeply into people. Those are gifts, and the right dynamic will never ask you to dim them. Your healing during this period is not a consolation prize. It is the main event. Every boundary you set, every old wound you face, every morning you choose yourself over waiting. That is the work. And that work has a value that exists completely independently of whether he comes back or not. You are not healing to win him over. You are healing because you deserve to be whole. Full stop. For the divine masculine, and I say this with genuine compassion, not judgment, the obsession you're sitting with right now is one of the most honest things you will ever feel. It is cutting through every story you've told yourself about who you are and what you need. And that kind of honesty is rare. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding it. You have been handed it directly. What you do with it will define the next chapter of your life more than any external circumstance ever could. The question is not whether she will come back. The question is whether you will show up for yourself in the way she always showed up, fully, honestly, without armor. Because that is the version of you that this journey has always been trying to build. And to everyone listening, regardless of where you are in this, the separation phase is not a punishment. It never was. It is a refinement, like metal going through fire. What comes out on the other side is stronger, clearer, and far more capable of holding the weight of a love this significant. Trust the discomfort, trust the silence, and above all, trust that everything happening right now, even the parts that hurt the most, is working in your favor in ways you cannot yet see. Until next time, keep trusting the journey,